Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Limited Time Only. I'm your host, Spencer, and I'm joined by my co-host, a zero-time state champion, but a silver pro nonetheless. Not next year if he keeps this up, Danny Cathro.
Hey, how's it going?
You got bronze, though, right?
Yeah, I have bronze. Yeah, I mean...
No, you got bronze this weekend, didn't you? Didn't you get one pro point to get bronze?
Technically. I don't know. Getting one pro point was not really... didn't feel great.
You got bronze!
Yeah, I was like 10-2, and then lost the last 3, so like, I didn't really look into what that got me, so...
Everybody has to start somewhere, Danny, and you start with bronze now.
It's true. I mean, I'm already queued for the next PT, so like, I had bronze. But, I guess, yay, I got it, in case my flight gets canceled or something, so that's good.
Yeah, how did you qualify for the Pro Tour?
Silver. I haven't used my silver invite this year yet.
Really?
Yeah, because I queued from.
Oh, that's right. You skipped the last. You skipped.
Yeah, I did. I just didn't go to Spain because I didn't want to. Yeah.
I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Look at me and my Pro Tour invites I haven't used. Well, Danny, you know who doesn't have Pro Tour invites to give out, but would love your business as our sponsors? You can check them out at the Game Grid at playatgamegrid.com. You can also check out the Mana Base, where you can watch Nikachu, the Merfolk player, play Burn right now. And you can also, support their sponsor directly at Fusion Gaming. So don't forget to check out both of our sponsors. You can support this podcast directly by going to patreon.com/LTOMTG, where you can help me afford to get a new beard, because mine is gone. So we need a little... Danny, what are you doing?
I just found something on my computer. I just cleaned it off.
Oh, okay. Where you can help me afford a new beard, because without your sweet Patreon dollars, I can't afford to have a beard, because I need beard oil, and I need, grooming items and things like that. So patreon.com/LTOMTG to help Spencer get his beard back. And Danny's, apparently you also shaved.
I did.
All right. We're just beardless now. We're going beardless. Well, this week is one of my favorite shows. Every time. We tried to do it last week, but there were some audio issues, so we're back and ready to attack with our goodbye episode. We've been doing these for as long as LTO has been around. So we're ready to say goodbye to Rivals of Ixalan. And I kind of want to start, Danny, with just like, how did you feel about Rivals of Ixalan as a whole?
I think I would describe it as, like, it was fine. It overperformed from the regular Ixalan, so it was like a step up, and so initially I was like very happy about that. And then I thought the draft was like relatively good, but I didn't get to draft too much. I mostly played more sealed, and the sealed was like had some kinks, I think. And so overall, like, I had a good time, but it wasn't like a crazy set that kept me coming back for more and more, even when I don't have events coming up.
I drafted the set a lot. I don't know why. I just kind of fell in love with Blue-Red Pirates, I think, is what really happened. And I probably drafted this set like over 40 times, like, to be honest. Between Paper, Cockatrice, MTGO, like, I drafted this set quite a bit. And I don't really know what it was. I think early on I like had a really good grasp early on. And then I was quick to adjust, and then quick to adjust again, because I think this format adjusted multiple times, right? We all came in, thought this was like a super aggressive format with tons of 2-drops that couldn't be blocked. Then there were, I think that I drafted like, black-red and green-red and stuff like that early on, and was winning okay, getting a lot of 2-1s, kind of switched up, realized what I loved in this format was, green decks, Sailor of Mean decks, and blue-red. And then I kind of discovered black-white as like, I figured out how to draft black-white, right? I always thought that black-white was kind of bad to start this format out, and then I kind of figured it out and was able to piece my black-white decks together. And I think this was the format where I drafted the most type of decks. and I was the most comfortable in different types of decks, and that's kind of what I'll remember Ixalan as, or Rivals of Ixalan anyway.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think that, despite what I said, I think there were a lot of options available to you. Like, when you sat down to draft Rivals of Ixalan, you didn't feel like you were super cookie-cuttered into what decks you were going to play. Each draft did feel like significantly different, I think. So that definitely is a huge plus.
I will also say that, I want to highlight the fact that it evolved. Like, that's something that you don't get out of every draft format. And this one really had an evolving metagame that I really appreciated.
Yeah, it was pretty significant too. Like, especially like coming from Ixalan and seeing like 2/1 Flyer, 2/1 Menace, 2/1 can be blocked by power 2 or less, right? Like, seeing those types of effects, people understandably quickly thought like, okay, I need to beat down again. But I think a card that's like really slow, like Legion Conquistador, like wound up being one of the best white commons. Like, really, really good. And like definitely a part of a major archetype and stuff, right? And so they're like, the cards definitely performed differently and interacted differently as the set went on, which is like that is very difficult for a set to do for sure.
Yeah. So with that being said, Danny, what was your most drafted color?
So my most drafted color was white, and it's kind of for a boring reason. I didn't really like love white or think that white was the absolute best or anything, but it was just so easy to get into a draft where you open some really good card, and then that color isn't super open in pack 1, and so you're picking mostly cards that are white because there's lots of white cards that are
white
pretty
was just
good.
super deep.
Yeah.
I had a lot of like white commons and not a lot of white uncommons I found when I was looking through my Moto account.
Mm-hmm. You just like kind of fill out your Tetzmock with some white cards, or you fill out your it could be anything, right? Like, you just like open a good card, and then you really think that you should try to play it, and you draft some white cards to make it work.
Yeah, I have a different experience. So one day I will say a color that's not blue, red, or green. One day. What did I say? Oh, we skipped it last time. Last time I would have said white, so I would have...
For Ixalan?
Yeah, white was my most drafted color for Ixalan.
Yeah, that's good.
Here, though, my most drafted color is probably blue. And the reason is because I played 4-color blue, I played blue-red, I played blue-green, I played blue-black, I played played a lot of different blue decks. So my blue collection in Ixalan is varied, outside of one specific creature type. But blue was really good filler. Like, you were able to play mana fixing in Sailor Means. I had 12 Sailor Means on Moto. It was my second most drafted common, tied with a couple others. And I really enjoyed playing blue decks. Surprisingly, though, I didn't ever draft. Is it Waterknot?
Waterknot. I
got no Waterknots on my Moto account.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blue card, so it has to be open. And if you only have 12 of each common, that definitely you can just not have Waterknot be open in the drafts that you played.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have a lot of Waterknots, but that being said, 12 Sailor Means, 12 Kite Sail, is it Kite Sail Freebooters?
Yeah,
Freebooters? No. That's the uncommon. What's the blue 2/1?
Kite Sail Marauder is a card. Kite Sail.
It's probably not Kite Sail, right?
I thought it was Freebooter, or...
No, that's the black uncommon.
You're right, Corsair. We got it.
Is it Kite Sail Corsair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have 12 of those too. I just drafted varying blue decks. Now, fun fact, I have 6 Warkite Marauders on my MTGO account. I've never bought a Warkite Marauder.
Seriously?
Yes.
That is so many Warkite Marauders. There's a lot.
I don't think I don't think I've ever passed a Warkite Marauder.
Well, that card is... I played with that this past weekend, and that card is
it's
very
insane.
impressive. No, I played it in Standard.
Oh, in Standard. Yeah, you played it in Standard. I forgot. Yeah, so I have more Warkite Marauders than I do Waternauts.
That's pretty absurd. Yeah, I can definitely see why you would be very drawn to playing a blue-red deck if you open a bunch of Warkite Marauders.
Yeah, so that being said, when we talk about, like, our favorite deck to draft, mine's really easy. I think yours is the same. It was blue-red, and it wasn't close. And the reason is because...
I guess when you say favorite, that definitely does make a lot of sense.
It was so fun.
That deck was so sweet.
It was such a different pace from the other decks that you got to draft, right? I'm super happy to play Mutiny, which is a card that I can get 5th pip. I'm super happy to play a bunch of random cards that were really easy to pick up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was a true delight.
It actually, that deck is super fun. The first time you get to kill someone with a Buccaneers Bravado that does 8 damage, you're just oh, got him. And it's just so, especially when sometimes there's just nothing they can do about it. They're just dead.
I mean, it's there was no other deck where you gotta go 1-drop, whether it's daring. It had the most playable 1-drops, and by that I mean you actively were okay with playing 1-drops, right? You played Fanatical Firebrand, you played Daring Buccaneer, you played the 1/1 Merfolk that's unblockable.
Miscloaked Herald. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You play all those, and then you follow it up with a Kitesail Corsair, right? And then turn 3, you this happened to me so often. I jam a Stormfleet Sprinter.
That card was so good.
You jam a Stormfleet Sprinter, and then they're so far behind. And here's the thing: is I played so many Tillinolly's Crown in that deck because it killed the thing their little dorky guys early on, or you put it on your Sprinter and the game's over.
I do, yeah. I definitely got to do that once with the Storms, turn 3 Stormfleet Sprinter, turn 4 Crown Bravado,
Yes.
They played it. It's take 12. It's just take a bajillion.
Take 12, yeah. I've done that too. There was just not another deck like this deck in the format. Now that being said, I think the other sweetest decks to draft were anything where you gotta get synergies with your Needle Tooth Raptors.
I mean, that was just cheating. Needle Tooth Raptor is one of those cards that it's not always great, but when it's great, oh my goodness,
the game's over.
Oh, it's done. It is completely over. One time, I got to go Forerunner and then Raptor. And then he, after I'd played the Raptor, he played a Colossal Dreadmaw. And then I just played another dinosaur and dealt 6 to it and killed it. And I was no. That was a good 6-drop. That died for free. It was pretty silly.
Yeah, it was certainly a, those were my other favorite decks. Early on in the format, though, that wasn't the case for me. My most drafted decks early on were all black decks. And I'll kind of spoil this. My most drafted uncommon was Golden Demise.
That card is insane. And I think it took people a little bit to realize how good it is.
I have 7 of them on MTGO.
It's a lot.
And I actually don't know if I've ever bought them. If I did, I bought 2. But I don't think I needed to. I think that I had drafted the set so much that I didn't need to buy any.
Yeah, no, that card, when I first looked at it, I just thought it was okay. And that it'd be situational, but when you realize that it has the situational part where you're playing against blue-red and you get to just 2-for-1 them kind of early and stabilize, and then that part is great. But it also has the other mode where the game goes long, and no matter what deck I'm playing against, I'll eventually get a send, and then this will eventually be Plague Wind or something close to that.
Yeah, well, sometimes it felt like the sealed format really did come down to the rares. It really did feel like the draft format often came down to your synergies still and building your deck correctly. And early on in the format, I was getting 5th pick Golden Demises, and I was this is what I want to do. The number of blue-black decks I drafted early on, that was white-black
is that. White-black wants so much.
Yeah, I had that too. You know, like these, like I have tons of Moment of Cravings, I have tons of Impales, I have tons of Golden Mises. My second most drafted uncommon, I don't know how this is true, but it is Ravenous Chupacabra.
That's impressive.
I don't
Mr. Open, the
I don't know how.
Open
Yeah,
Ravenous
I don't know
Chupacabra.
how I got so lucky that like my two top drafted uncommons are the two best uncommons, and then
black.
and then Morkite Marauder is my most drafted rare. But like that was the beginning of the format for me. Like I don't even know if I drafted a non-black deck to like start the format for a long time. I mean, that's probably not true, right? I probably drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I was just talking about red black and blue black at the beginning of the format like the whole time though.
I mean, those two cards are like real haymakers. Like they are completely insane. And so if you just keep opening those up or getting past them, then you're gonna find yourself playing a lot of black decks. Like they're like in Golden Eyes is like a really fun card to play too. Like when you get someone with it feels great.
Yeah, it certainly does. I think that. So was I right? Was blue red your favorite deck to draft also?
Yeah, I mean, I also enjoy I always enjoy a good dirtling. So I generally lean more towards dirtle decks than I lean towards aggro decks is like my favorite. So I think I put down there like some kind of Sailor of Means, like atrocity was probably when I enjoyed it a lot. But like blue red, you definitely got to do something very different.
Yeah. So what was your least favorite deck to draft?
I think I put down white red. That deck was like abysmal.
I don't think I drafted that much. And I think
it was horrible.
I think that I tried it with Relentless Raptor once, and I was like, well, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, like I was drafting with a buddy, and we had I think like 2 or 3 Relentless Raptors, and we still like barely went 2-1, and like I think it was 3. I think we literally had 3 Relentless Raptors, and we're just like, this deck still sucks. How is this possible? And yeah, there's no payoffs for. I mean, there's not enough payoff for dinosaurs, and like your cards are just weird. Like they just lined up very strange together. Like white and red wanted to do 2 very different things in the set, and so like the white red deck of Ixalan was not a thing. Ixalan, that definitely was like a major strategy, is try to territorial hammer skull people and sky terror and aggro them out. But like that deck just didn't come together. White cards weren't very aggressive, but they were good cards, so you just weren't getting very good cards for your deck a lot of times. No.
So, for me, my least favorite deck was not a bad deck. I think it was actually a good deck. But every time I drafted it, it just felt like I was doing something wrong. And that was blue-white. So, I actually think that blue-white was like a really good 2-1 deck in this draft format. What happened pretty often for me is like, I'd get like a Sailor of Means, and I'd get like, you know, some flyers and stuff like that. But it never worked. Like, it was always just a worse blue-red deck for me. And I think that my problem is that when I was trying to draft this deck a lot, I hadn't realized how good Snub Horde Sentry was.
I was literally just about to mention that card.
So, like, I think that if I had known how good that card was, I would have had a different feeling about this deck. But I didn't have them. I wasn't drafting them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that card's, like, a major aspect of the blue-white deck. Like, the blue-white deck is very good at getting Ascend. It just, and Spire Winder is, like, a major payoff. Like, you want to be building your deck to make Spire Winder really good. And then Sailor Means obviously great. And so you're definitely trying to like slow down the game, play some secrets of the Golden City.
Play like a Sun-Crested Pterodon. Like I had everything that I needed except for that. I'm pretty sure that had I just known how good that card was, I could have gotten some. I could have Squire's Devotioned up my Sun-Crested Pterodon, held the ground with some other stuff, and just made it work. But I was too far behind, and I never. Eventually, I just started drafting this format to draft blue-red because I loved it so much.
Yep. And like Snowbound Sentry even makes your Sun-Crested Pterodons good. A lot of decks you normally have to draw like both copies of your Pterodons, but Snowbound Sentry just happens to be a dinosaur, and you want to block with it anyway. So like you're just gonna play it out, and then it'll just give your guy vigilance. So.
Yep. So I already said my most drafted uncommon. What was your most drafted uncommon?
Mine. So, possibly a little embarrassing. But mine was Jungle Creeper.
It is embarrassing. It's not a little embarrassing.
I mean, that card is fine. It's just not great. And I thought it was a little bit better than fine. For a little bit. Or for, like, the whole format. You know, whatever. I just enjoyed playing Jungle Creeper, and so I would draft it and kind of, like, jam it into my deck a lot, even when I wasn't just black-green. I would just play it in, like, a blue deck as a random card. But I don't know. I would, like, convince myself that I would play it, and then normally cut it at the end. But, yeah, that card was weird. It looks really good sometimes.
Do you know what I wish my most drafted uncommon had been?
Merfolk Mistbinder.
No. Curious Obsession.
Oh my goodness, that uncommon is so broken. It's like, it's so stupid.
If I could have picked a card to have, 11 of on my Moto account, like an uncommon, sure, Gold Demise, Ravenous Chupacabra, they're great. Like, they're really powerful magic cards, but they're not nearly as fun as Curious Obsession.
So I played against that card in Standard, and I felt like, oh my goodness, how can I beat a Dantos Vanguard into Curious Obsession? Like, it's impossible. I can't think of a scenario where I would beat this combination. And like, yeah, in draft, it was stupid. You just like put it on a flyer. All right, I'm gonna draw 3 cards for 1 mana and deal you 3 damage. Sure, that makes sense.
I was actually surprised at my second most drafted uncommon though. It was Daring Buccaneer. It was tied with Ravenous Chupacabra. And that, I wonder if I started like second picking them at some point.
I think you probably did. I mean, it sounds like you just really liked blue-red, and that card is way better in blue-red than it is.
It's so good in blue-red.
Yeah, because even black-red, which is the other Pirates color, it doesn't really come together as an aggro deck, and so the benefit of having a 1-drop that has 2 power is really lessened. Whereas in blue-red, like, all of the creatures you want to play are basically pirates, and you greatly want to have a 1-drop that deals 4 damage.
Goblin Trailblazer, baby.
Yeah, like, it's so good. But in black-red, you mostly want to just kind of play a mid-range game, and so even if you can play it for 1 mana, it doesn't do much for you.
I'm actually surprised. Maybe I'm not, but like, it feels like I could have drafted a mono red deck in this format, but maybe it just was never deep enough. But
there's some bad cards in red. I don't think it would. Like, I mean, yeah, you'd have to be playing some like Araska Raptors and stuff.
What was your most drafted common?
My most drafted common was Snubhorn Sentry. I was on the hype train, and I loved that card. I had multiple decks that just had like 5 Snubhorn Sentries.
Wow.
Just like, let's get in...
I can't believe you never screenshotted those.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't always good, but they were fun. I played 3 Snubhorn Sentries in 2 turns a couple times.
So very early on, Mutiny was my front runner for most drafted common. I had 10 pretty early on. But Buccaneers Bravado won out with 13 copies on my Moto account.
That card's so sweet. Like, it is the blue-red card, right? Like, I don't think that deck would have been good without the Bravado. Like, the whole format, anytime you're playing against blue-red, you're like, alright, hold on, block like this. Wait. Buccaneers Bravado. And then you have to, like, reconsider all of your blocks because they are all terrible and leave you dead if they have Buccaneers Bravado. And then you play the whole game just, like, in fear of if I don't block a creature, I'm just going to take 10.
Yeah, like, the number of times that, like... And you get it so late. It's like...
Yeah. Because no one else can play it. Like, you're right.
13th pick Buccaneers Bravado. It's like, there are so many times where, like, I'm not playing 3 of these. Like, this is not like, I'll play 2, but, like, even then, like, I had times where, like, there were 3 and I only played 1. Like, yeah, it was something else.
I didn't understand how good it was, and then I realized that Temur Battle Rage is, like, a modern playable card. I'm like, oh, 2 mana, like, +1/+1, and double strike. That's just a lot of damage. Okay, this makes sense. Like, this one you have to have an unblocked creature, but you're playing, like, a unblocked theme deck, so it normally works out pretty well for you.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, Danny, this episode's been short. We need to add some stuff to the goodbye episodes, it feels like. But it's 3 years from now. I got myself some Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan's packs. I invite you over. Are we drafting?
Well, yes, we'll draft. Like, I think it'd be fun to throw it back. I mean, you would definitely say yes because you would just jam blue red, and then I would sit on your left and also draft. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I want to before I agree. I would draft this set again. I actually really liked the sealed format. I know that it kind of sucked. So here's the thing about the sealed format. I think it was a great day one format for GPs. But a horrible PTQ format and a horrible if you had to play 13 rounds with one sealed deck, it would have been miserable. And I think that even in the format the world as small as RPTQs, the skill gap that you get at a GP doesn't exist. And so it makes it so the better decks just climb faster.
Yeah, you feel when you're at a GP. Sometimes you get play against an experienced person, and that's fine. And maybe they don't play their Hadana's Climb in the perfect way to kill you on turn 6, and that just won't happen as much as if you're playing an RPTQ. And you just have less opportunities. You can't give losses. I can get blown out by Profane Procession at a GP, move on with my day, and keep playing, right? Whereas at an RPTQ, you lose.
Your day's over.
You're just done. All right, I lost a Profane Procession that I could never possibly win if he drew it. Okay, right. I am now done.
So I do think it was a great GP format for sealed, and it was a fun sealed format. Despite the fact that there were Profane Procession, Hadana's Climb, Tetsamok, Kaisel Freelooter, or Warkite Marauder. What is the name of the card?
Yeah, Warkite Marauder. Yeah,
that card's insane. The Primal Storm card, the rare Red Dragon was insane, right? Galta was insane. Yep. There were too many insane rares.
Yeah.
But the format was still fun.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of the games are really interesting. You felt like you could play against different archetypes, which is cool, right? You could play against a fast deck or a slow deck, and you could sideboard accordingly, and a lot of the boards got to interesting board states. So if you like races and or board stalls, that was fun because that happened relatively often. It's just there were some problematic cards that were tough to interact with. I'm mostly okay with Atali and Galta and stuff. They're just big dumb idiots that you can kill. But there's just too many cards that were really tough to interact with, which I think that's what makes Bomb Rares feel worse. If I lose to Baneslayer Angel, I'm mostly okay with it. It's when I lose to... Yeah.
But when Tetsamok wipes your board and you could feel it coming the entire time...
Yeah. It feels worse to lose that. Which, I mean, it's fine. Both are good.
I streamed my RPTQ, and there were multiple games where I just cast Profane Procession and my opponent conceded.
No, it's just not... if you're a little ahead on board, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
They can't kill an enchantment. That's the issue. I mean, that's why Crushing Canopy is actually pretty, really good. Because you can actually interact with some of these rares.
So, that is it. We both said we would draft this in 3 years. It was good enough. Don't forget to check out Game Grid. Don't forget to check out the Mana Base. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ccmtg. You can find Danny at DJ Cathro on Twitter. You can find me on Spencer13H. You can find the podcast at LTOMTG. And you can tweet at us with hashtag What's the Pick. We will be renewing those for Dominaria, so don't forget to tweet at us with hashtag What's the Pick. And we'll see you guys all next week with another episode of Limited Time Only.
See you guys.